This is a puzzle game, simple and easy to play. And this is an AI whose only goal is to hunt you down. What happens when you combine these? Well, you get this absolute piece of garbage. I start off by changing the skybox because the default one is questionable. With that out of the way, I made this AI cube dude. He doesn't really do a whole lot except follow the player indefinitely. Like, it's bad. He won't stop until he pushes you off the platform. The movement script that I had gotten off the marketplace for a high price of $0 doesn't really fit the game because it can't interact with the physics. So, rather than spending my time making my own, I just found another one for free. This is actually kind of fun. Maybe too much. I definitely need to slow that down. Now you're probably wondering, what is the actual idea for the game? Basically, the player will be able to solve puzzles by pressing buttons and moving cubes, but with a twist. An AI that you can knock over with physics-based objects will be chasing you down the whole time. And if he catches you, well, we'll figure that out later. Since I'm not making Minecraft, I should probably make a model for the AI. And because I'm a professional 3D modeler, modeling this should be easy. So, apparently I forgot how Blender works because last time I checked this is not what a person looks like. Rather than try and spend hours making a new model, I'm gonna spend hours touching up a model from older projects. I mean, it looks alright. Clearly I'm not good at 3D anything, so I'm gonna let Mixamo do the rigging for me. I wanted the AI to be a ragdoll when he gets smoked by objects, but once again, Unity decided that it knows more than me on how to do it and made me put up with this absolute nonsense. Actually, what is this? I might need to file a lawsuit after this one. After spending a few hours fixing the issue, it actually worked. Although after falling over, he does continue to crawl towards you, but that's not a bug, it's a feature. As of right now, the only way to knock over an AI is by pressing a keybind. To change this, I decided it would be smart for, me of all people to make a pickup system. I'm sure you could have guessed, but, it did not work. So I decided to put in the effort like a good person. I mean, at least it was free. I also imported the toon shader, but it didn't actually work. To make the game actually a game, I gave the AI the ability to respawn after a certain amount of time. The AI looked really bland and I wanted it to have a toon shader, so I checked the marketplace one more time and got one that actually works. So it turns out that I am not a 3D modeler, but I am a 2D modeler. Wait, no. Point is that in just a few short hours, I put together this amazing wall texture that looks great. Definitely. By the way, the game takes place inside of a simulation because I'm way too lazy to make an actual environment. I even made a normal map for it. If you don't know, a normal map affects the way textures interact with light to give it a sense of depth. To further add to the puzzle aspect of the game, I gave the player the ability to pick up the downed AI. This way, it could be used to interact with buttons. This time, I was actually successful at modeling. Now, whether or not it looks good is a different story, but it fits. After a bit of code, it works great. Almost. Once again, that's an issue for future me. I did manage to hook up the button to a door though, which is a huge accomplishment for me, by the way. Because my game doesn't look the best right now, I added some post-processing, which basically turns your game from looking like this to this. I even built a couple more levels, so there's an actual game. This first level, you have to throw a cube up on an elevated platform, which looks easy, but is surprisingly difficult, especially when you have to avoid the AI. I also made this other one where you need to use the AI to press a button because the cube is too light. This one requires very good precision and timing because you have to knock over an AI with a cube, then place the cube and AI on a button on separate sides of the room. I made a few more, but for time's sake, I won't show those for now. What is that saying? Silence before the storm? I don't know, but I do know that Unity Lighting had me ready to light my computer on fire. I was messing around with the lighting settings and discovered that I needed to use reflection probes to add reflections to my walls. So I did, and this happened. After baking my lights, it actually worked, but something else went wrong. Whenever I looked at a specific angle, the lights would seem to flicker. I'd like to say that this was an easy fix, but it took a bit. Yeah, so Unity has a maximum amount of lights that can affect an object, but it's just a simple setting, so I was able to fix that pretty easily. If you remember from earlier, I said this. And if he catches you, well, we'll figure that out later. So it's time to actually add that in. I gave the player a health bar, and now he takes damage when he comes into contact with the AI. Super original, I know. When you die, you now get knocked over, I think. Anyways, now after you get knocked over, it fades to a black screen and gives you the option to play again. To make the game feel nice, I wanted to make the crosshair change when you hover over an item that you can interact with. I got it into the game and it worked, but for some reason, if I was standing near the edge of the range, it would start flickering. I was trying to fix this for longer than the lighting issue. I even tried asking Copilot AI how to fix it because nothing else was helping. That went about, as expected. A big issue with the game is that you are able to smuggle items from one level to another, so I spent a couple days learning shader graphs in order to add a force field between the levels so that only the player can pass through. The game felt a bit quiet, so I decided to use my amazing sound design skills to record some audio for the game. Not gonna lie, it sounds absolutely horrendous, but whatever. At this point, the game was pretty much finished, except for a couple things. One of those things was that the game was extremely buggy and I hated it. So, I may have just spent the last 2 weeks redoing all of the scripts, and I think it might be even worse. But, now we have physics-based buttons. That took, way too long. Also, I redid the AI, so now it works on a state basis. Basically, he has logic to run at you, run away, and punch. And I redid the animations to make it look a lot more smooth. I even revamped the lighting and tune shader to make it look nicer. The last thing I did was throw together a main menu. Overall, the game is pretty buggy and glitchy. Anyways, let's take a look at the finished game. If you guys think that I should add a few more levels and publish it, let me know. Anyways, thanks for watching, and subscribe if you like watching an idiot try to code.